Hi everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and today we're going to be creating some fun projects using the Tim Holtz Christmas in July class kit components. I'm going to create a fun Christmas decor item, 3 cards, and 4 gift tags to share with you. And you guys, that is just scratching the surface of all the amazing things you can do with this kit. So to get started, I generally, when I have a kit, I often like to start with my biggest project first. That's just kind of how my mind works with that. And so what I ended up doing was opening up like the baseboards and going through that first and really having fun looking through all the components and deciding what do I want to create. In the kit, you get this picture frame. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to see if one of the baseboards fits the frame? And sure enough, it fits well enough that I think we can create something super fun with it. I am going to go ahead and remove the inserts and things for now, and I'm using the little paper insert to measure how big to make the paper for the background in my little vignette, if you will. And we're going to use some of the Kraft Stock glitter paper, also from the kit, for this. So I'm kind of playing around with different components, and I'm like, no, I think that's too busy. I think we'll just go with the sparkle, but I want to add plenty of fun distress. Now, one of the things I love best about the baseboards is they are so super sturdy. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with those. I decided, I think what we're going to do is we're going to place the snowy looking design here on the back with Santa peeking through. And then we're going to have kind of the fireplace. We'll put some other ephemera and things inside of here, but we're just going to start building it from the base up, if you will. So I've got my glitter cardstock cut to size. I've got my fireplace. I've got Santa. And from here, we are going to start gluing it all together. Now, I think sometimes these kinds of projects can be a little overwhelming, but break it down. Now, as I looked at that, I thought, you know what? I love that, but I don't know that I love the white, bright white frame. So I think one of the best things I decided to do, and it worked out so amazing, is these wonderful cello stickers. They look like old, masking tape that's weathered and worn. So it's kind of transparent, but it sticks really well to the frame. That's what I want to say. So what I did was I ended up going around and I'm going to apply this all over the frame. Now, I think even if you wanted to use this picture frame as a picture frame, this would be a really fun and easy way to create a grungy type of photo frame. But what happens is this instantly gives more of a old building kind of look with this window on top of it, I guess, is what I want to say. And it was a great way to use these stickers. And I know it seems like I'm using a ton of them here. I'm overlapping them. I still have so many stickers left, even after using a few on some of my other projects. So you really are going to get a lot for this in the kit. You aren't going to use it all up. And you'll notice I'm using different widths. I used the larger ones like on the front to bend over to the back. And then I'm using the skinnier ones here on the corners and things to fill in all of those little areas. And I'm just overlapping it. I love how this looks. This might be like my favorite thing that I came up with in this project. I just really, really loved how this looked. So I'm going to continue wrapping all of this around my frame, and then we're going to start building the adorable scene. I think one of my favorite things about a kit like this is that it might take you out of your comfort zone just a little bit. You may not use a lot of pre-made type of products in your card making, in your tag making, in your decor items. And hopefully with this kit and the inspiration you get from the class videos for this, it will inspire you to maybe think outside of the box a little bit and things that you can create without stamps or die cutting. And I think that that is a very inspiring type of project. I really love that and kind of had to get myself in the right mindset, I think, for that. But once I was in, I could not stop making with this kit. I just think it is a great value. I have so much stuff left, as I mentioned, that I can make all kinds of additional tags and cards and home decor projects, etc. for the holidays. Okay, now that our frame is all covered, it's time to start building our scene and then of course building around that. So my imagining for this was kind of Santa peeking out the window. We're going to add snow with the wonderful glitter that comes in the kit. You get some Ranger multi-matte medium. But then I want to build up around the frame as well. So we're not only building, Santa here in the picture window inside, but we want to add like some other little baseboard type pieces. And you're going to see me play around with a lot of different things and just the way I work on how to assemble this, because it isn't always super straightforward. So now I've picked out a few pieces you can see here, and I am taking some of the cardstock die cuts and I am inking the edges with the iced spruce ink that comes in the kit just to weather it a little bit. Then we're going to start gluing things together. So we're going to use a little bit of craft glue. You can also use some Ranger multi-matte medium if you want to. And I'm going to glue the snowy transparency to the back of the picture window, just like this. And it is sized. It comes in that baseboard kit, so it comes sized perfectly to work in here. Then we are going to look at this. And I did decide to put the window pane on here. So you can layer them if you want to, or you can choose which one you want to use. So I did the snow, and then I also did the wonderful decorative look here. Just going to flip it over so I can easily line that up. And again, there's lots of different sizes to fit the different windows and things that come in the baseboard kit. And then we're going to glue this to our frame, and we're going to glue "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly" right to the top. Now this is cute. I love this, but it's not that over-the-top Christmassy look that we're going for quite yet. So I am going to glue my frame my baseboard right to the front of the frame like so. We're going to glue "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly." We're going to adorn and embellish some of this greenery. So I'll put a little Ranger multi-matte medium on that, add the glitter so it's super glittery. And then we're going to add that to the front as well. So let's let that dry for a minute, and we're going to work on building what's going inside of the frame. I'm going to figure out where I want my fireplace to go. We're going to glue Santa in place. I also decided to add some extra ephemera inside here. It just is going to fill in that space a little bit. Honestly, I don't know how much of it actually gets seen. So you could probably skip a lot of that if you wanted to. It's really just kind of personal preference. I've got some great little vintagey stamps. All of the dies are from the kit. And I'm actually going to glue those to the window, and I do like that. And that one really is visible. I ended up really liking how that turned out, so we're just going to pop that right there. That's kind of cute down near the base of the window. It will take a little bit for your glue to dry. So what I would suggest is to work on this in steps. And as you're working on this in steps, kind of set things aside, like I put everything on the front of the frame. Set that aside to dry while you work on the inside pieces. And truth be told, there were a few times that I walked away for a few hours. It wouldn't have needed that long, but I would come back and work on it, work on different things. Let's see, I think I glued most of the stuff down. Oh, I know what it is. When we get to putting the pine branch around the top, it's going to need a little bit of time to glue and adhere to that. It's not paper. When we get to gluing the little silver decorative balls to the top of the frame, I also let those sit for a while and let them secure before I came back and added glue to the top of those and added the glitter to make it look snowy. Little things like that that you can come back later and fill that in. I did put some of the foam adhesive also included in your kit, and this is going to pop up Santa just a little bit here inside of our scene. We're going to peel off all that backing paper. We're going to pop Santa right where we want. Oops, and look, I knocked that off. So really shouldn't be handling this so much. I'm going to glue this and then set it aside to let that dry. Oh, it's going to be cute. So I'm going to have to completely reglue this. I didn't let it dry long enough. But the good news is once it's dry, it's going to be nice and secure because I accidentally knocked this over and nothing fell off. A couple days after I made this, I knocked it over on my desk. Okay, on the front of the window, I decided Christmas toys for girls and boys would be so cute. Plus this little urn with poinsettias in it, almost like it's outside of a store window. That's kind of my imagining for this. I often kind of like to have a story when I am building a project, and for me, that was my story here. So, and look, I keep knocking it off because I keep messing with it. I did decide to add another little ticket down here to the window. So let's add a little glue to that. I'm going to rough up or distress up, the edges just a little bit with my iced spruce ink. I am a huge fan of iced spruce. It's my favorite color for Christmas crafting. And what I love is look how amazing it looks on the edges of all these die cuts. You do not have to have a brown. I think that this iced spruce weathers everything beautifully. Okay, I'm just hiding my glue a little bit there. Then I can kind of play with where I want that to go. Okay, looking good. So now we're going to put a little adhesive on the front of our window and glue our signage in place. So as you can really start to see now building the design from the base up, and it's starting to really take shape. So now I'm going to grab this wonderful glue that is exclusive to the kit, glitter. You can use all kinds of different glitter product that you have on hand. If you have some of these baseboards and you want to create something similar, baseboards or die cuts and ephemera packs. And I'm just going to use one of the cards actually from the kit here. And we are going to add a little bit of the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. You could also use some of the glossy accents, whatever you like here. And I'm just going to add little bits of it all over my die cut, and then we're going to glitter it up with our beautiful flaky glitter. And then I can easily bend the card at that score line and funnel it back into the container. And then this is actually going to go right here on the front of the window. So I am going to put a little glue on this as well. And then we're going to position it right up here and set that aside to dry. The Ranger Multi-Matte Medium is going to dry clear. I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of the little urn. I've also distressed this with a little bit of the iced spruce, and that's going to go down in the bottom left corner of our scene. I also have one of my pine little branches here, and I want to figure out how to bend this around the top of my window scene. We're also going to take one of the other pieces to make it look like a sign. So almost like this is a storefront and it's a big city sign sitting on top. That was kind of my imagining. I bent my pine sprig in half, and then I'm going to bend it kind of place that little half mark in the center of my frame and bend it around the sides. Isn't that going to be cute? Now, this was one of the times where I really needed to let this sit and completely dry. Once I kind of have that bent in shape, I did use my glue, and I am going to glue this in a couple of spots around the edges of my frame with my craft glue. I did need to butt something heavy up next to it to hold it in place. I could have gone out to my garage and maybe got a clamp, but I didn't. So I actually had some extra heavy duty magnets that I will sandwich around this. I also felt like my frame needed some additional snow sitting in the windowsill. So I took my Ranger Multi-Matte Medium, placed that in my windowsills and sprinkled on my glitter to allow that to dry. And then once I have this pine sprig glued around the top and sides, I'm going to set this aside and let this completely dry, and then we're going to come back and add some fun decorative touches to round out and finish this cute little decorative frame. So here are my magnets that I am using, and you can see it does not want to stay put. So we're just going to squish this to help hold it in place. There we go. And I'm going to grab another one, put a little glue on the side, and I'm going to grab my other magnet, and we're just going to kind of use that as a clamp. Okay, so while this is drying, we are going to create a bow out of some of the red silk ribbon included in your kit. You can also purchase this ribbon from Simon Says Stamp. I love this ribbon. It is my absolute favorite for tying into bows because it creates this really teeny tiny knot. I was able to get 2 1.5-inch bows from the ribbon in the kit, which I thought was really good. So I'm going to use some of it here and some on a tag here in a little bit. And I am just notching the ends after I've tied it into a little bow because I thought that would be really pretty up at the top of my little storefront, kind of in that greenery in the garland, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on that and glue that in place and allow that to sit and dry too. So also included in the kit, we have those silver balls. I'm going to use those in my garland. We're going to put those up at the top of our little Christmas shop here. I'm using another magnet. My magnets came in real handy. Really handy here. Okay, that didn't stay. And there we go. I have this brilliant foil icicles signage that I'm going to glue to the back of the frame, and we're also going to glue the silver balls in place. Now, these are going to require a little bit of dry time so that they stay put. I am gluing the large and small into my garland. You can see here, just putting a little bit of glue or a lot of glue and then popping them in place. We're going to put a little glue on the bottom edge of the little brilliant foil icicles sign, and we're going to glue that to the back of the frame. And I glued it at a slight angle so that it kind of looked like the sign is up on top of the building, if you will. So when you're looking at it, you know, it might appear kind of going at an angle. That was kind of my thinking. It's okay that you can't read the whole thing. It is more of an illusion, if you will. It's building all of those different layers to build the signage. I will tell you, I did remove one of the silver balls from that left side. I thought I would like it a little off balance. I ended up not liking that at all. Where the glue is on the frame, I'm just going to disguise that by putting some Ranger Multi-Matte Medium and some more glittery ice. So no worries on that. Okay, I've come back a little bit later. All my glue is dry. I'm adding Ranger Multi-Matte Medium to all of the greenery, to the silver decorative balls, anywhere else that I think needs it. And we are going to sprinkle on that glitter. We're going to finish glittering up our cute little scene. What I love about this, frame is that it's freestanding. So you instantly have a freestanding decorative element that you can add to all of your Christmas vignettes, decor, tuck it in to different displays, maybe take some more of your baseboard products that you got in the kit, grab some other size frames and create a whole little Christmas village scene. So cute, so much fun. And I really hope this inspires you to maybe try some decor items with your kit components. Okay, let's move on to some tag making. Tags are always one of my absolute favorite things to make for the holiday season. And this is no exception because so many of the components make the perfect tags. And they are nice, heavy cardstock, so they are going to provide us with beautiful, sturdy tags. But we, of course, are going to build these up with other, stickers and layered tags, layered components, all of that good stuff. So I'm actually using some of these little label stickers up at the top, and I ended up doing this for all of them because I tried it on this one and I loved how it turned out. We're going to kind of bend it around, and I'm actually going to have it kind of hang off the little fold or score in the label, hang off the top of the tag. So I'm going to pull it up before that glues or secures too much. And that's going to be our little tag topper. And then I'm going to take a crocodile and punch a hole, but I actually was afraid I might not punch it exactly in the center. So I'm going to make a little mark with a pen, and I'm going to punch through that with my 1/8 inch hole punch. Now that we have this, we're going to layer on some of the other ephemera pieces, including labels, stickers. We're going to add some with foam adhesive. Very quick, very simple, but so beautiful and effective. And what I love is these would also make great decor. Maybe you want to tuck them into one of your Tim Holtz vignette boxes. Maybe you want to use them for gift giving. Put them on packages. I sewed up some fun Tim Holtz fabric drawstring gift bags that I used the little mini clips that come in the kit to secure those to those gift bags. So easily removed, can be used for decor later on. I'm always a big fan of being able to kind of reuse those decor components. Added lots of little stickers here right in the center of the tree, but yet you can still see the tree. It's so cute. And then you get some red and white baker's twine in the kit, and I was able to take that piece of baker's twine, divide it into 4 pieces, and use this for my 4 tags. You can also pick up additional red and white baker's twine from Simon Says Stamp, and it is the perfect accent for your tags and other crafting. Okay. So here's my little bag. I wanted to see if I thought it would look cute on here, attached with the clip. And oh, I love, love, love that. That is going to be absolutely adorable. Okay, so now that I know that I think that's going to work out really well, let's go ahead and do the other tags just like this. And I'm just going to attach my little clip right here to the top of the tag for now. And then I can use it to attach it to whatever gift I want to. This would even be great if you have wrapped up a gift with wrapping paper and ribbon and you just want to secure your tag to your present. These little clips, again, they came in your kit, or you can purchase them individually. They're one of my favorite Tim Holtz idea-ology products. You can very easily add tags to your gifts that way. So I've got some other nice little base pieces for tags. Again, you're going to see me over and over use these little labels to bend over the top of the tag. We're going to layer some pieces. I tried to do lots of layering with my tags. We're going to take some of the iced spruce and distress the edges of this Christmas little panel before gluing it down. You also get foam adhesive squares as well as strips in the kit. So use those to help pop up different pieces. I think I'm going to pop up this little December 25th ephemera piece with those foam squares. Look how cute that's going to look. And then all of the little actual, quote unquote, actual tag ephemera that you get. I love the look of the layered tags. And so you can definitely tell I picked my favorites because these are perfect for handwriting recipients' names on them. And that kind of frees up the tag to remain this really cute little decor piece that, of course, the recipient could then tie into maybe some of their home decor projects. Okay, once our second tag is done, we have just a couple more. Now, 3 of them are a little bit more involved. 1 of them is a little bit more simple, but again, it just shows the versatility that you can achieve with these different packages of ephemera. And I'm going to grab a little sticker here. I think we'll put it right down here. I like that, a very Merry Christmas. Okay, so next we're going to move on to our 25 tag, and I loved this one, and I want to incorporate that label into the numbers. So we're going to glue these die cut numbers to our tag, but you're going to notice that the 5 is going to have that label kind of tucked into it, and then we're going to build on that, add a little sticker, etc. So just gluing that down. I'm going to go ahead and keep the label in place, flip that over, and we're going to put our glue on the back. And that little label is going to slightly overlap the 2 and the 5, just like so. You can still totally read those numbers, but it just provides a fun little decorative area. We're going to take another one of the labels up at the top. I think this just instantly transforms these ephemera pieces into quick and easy tags. And you can see I had lots and lots of these little labels. You get tons of them in the ephemera packs, so you could actually make even more tags. Cleaning up a little bit of a gluey mess there. And we're going to grab a little sticker to place right on our label. Of course, the possibilities are endless. Let's do peace and joy to all. I love that. We're going to punch our little hole, thread our tags together with some of that baker's twine. And this is going to be the tag that I ended up putting another little bow on. At first I thought about threading it through, but ultimately I decided I thought that bright big red bow, well, I say big, it's 1.5 inch bow, but it's going to be super cute on there. So let's go ahead and thread our baker's twine first, and then we can come back and make our bow here in a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this one here, and let's make our last tag, and we'll come back and make that bow. So for this one, I decided to go ahead and kind of tip it on its end. Obviously, it looks kind of like a vintagey postcard, which is really cute. We're going to glue our label to the short end. And we're going to layer a couple of circle images, and that's really it. I decided not to go overboard on this one. I didn't really feel like it needed it, so I kept this one simple. And I'm going to attach the 25 right over that red circle with a foam square. And I did go around the edges, kind of distress them up a little bit with iced spruce. We're just going to glue this in place right to our little postcard, like so. We're going to thread our tags together with the baker's twine. And that is going to really be it for these tags, minus the little bow, which of course I will create just like I created the bow for our decorative decor item. Just clean up the edges of our baker's twine, add our little mini clip, and so cute. So here's our little bow. I've already tied it, And I'm just going to do the same thing where I'm going to notch the ends. If you need a good pair of scissors for cutting ribbon and twine, the Tim Holtz haberdashery scissors are excellent. That's what I used right here. Super sharp. I only use mine for ribbons, trims, things like that, and I love them. But the fun is not over. We are now going to make 3 cards. So I absolutely loved this beautiful bird. And we're going to use some more of that Kraft Stock Sparkle paper to mount this on, just to give the edge of this a little bit of sparkle. We're going to tuck some extra ephemera behind. We're going to use one of the little mini clips included in your kit to add like these little tickets and things. We're going to clip them to the top of our, it looks like a vintage postcard front, actually, the little bird. And I thought that would be fun. I inked up the edge of a sentiment banner, my little admit one ticket, the little extra letter, all of the things. I'm also using this midnight green card base included in the kit. We're going to make sure it's nice and scored. We're going to glue our little bird postcard right to the glitter paper, and then we're going to trim it out. I decided that would be easiest, so I'm just gluing this down. You do need to give it a minute to glue or to stay put. It will be permanent, but when the glue is still wet, it might tend to move around a little bit, and I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer and trim that so that it's maybe 1/8 of an inch on all sides. It was kind of more of a guesstimate. I didn't really measure it. I started to measure it, and then I thought, I'm just going to glue it on here and trim around it. And I love how this looks on this midnight green card base. And this card really doesn't feature kind of the traditional Christmassy look as much. Yes, there's red and green on it, but I really loved how it's just a little bit more natural or something. Okay, so let's take our little ephemera pieces and we're going to clip those with the little mini paper clip. You guys, these have been one of my favorite Tim Holtz products for years and years, and they're nice and flat, so it's going to work great. We're going to glue the extra little postcard back behind the greeting, just like so. Then I'm going to put some of those foam squares on the back of the sentiment, and we're going to pop that up. And then here is where I took some more of those little cello tape, and we're going to tape the postcard to the background. I wanted this to look very kind of old and vintagey, and I love these stickers for that. So one at the top, and I am going to do one down at the bottom. I wanted to see how it looked. And after I get my sentiment in place, I thought, I really think it needs one down here at the bottom. But I love this little pop-up overlap of this little banner here. And we're going to kind of shift it right here, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. So pretty. Let's go ahead and glue this right down to our card base. Look how fast and easy it is to create a card with pre-mades as well as a kit. We have one more little cello sticker to add, and this card is completely done. So super, super fast. And use those tweezers. They do make it a lot easier to pick up those stickers. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. Okay, next, let's create a Santa themed card. I love layering the pieces, so I actually took some of that other sparkle, that little strip of sparkle paper left over, and I'm going to glue it. It happily works on the back of this little opening frame here. And I'm going to take the white card base included in the kit, and we're going to use this. Now, one of the things about this is I could put it on the card just as is. However, I really felt like this frame is a little bit narrow. It fits the height-wise perfectly, but I think we could make a little bit more of a narrow card with this. So I'm actually going to trim my card base down, but we're going to glue the components to the card, and then we're going to come back. So we have the sparkle cardstock, the frame. We have our Santa that we're going to tuck partially in the frame, but partially out. I don't want him completely in. So we're going to tuck the boots just down underneath. There we go. Just like that. I'm going to take this label and cut it in half. And then you can see here, I am going to shift Santa all the way over to the left so that I have even margins on the left and the top and the bottom. Then we're going to glue the little red piece the little ephemera piece we cut in half. We're going to adhere part of it to the top, part to the bottom. It almost looks a little bit like tape back behind, even though I didn't use the cello tape for this. I like that little red and white stripe. And I'm purposely not having it be super perfect, but I also don't want it super wonky. We're going to tuck that right there. And now we need to look for some sentiments to add to our card. And for this, I'm going to do an assortment of these fun stickers from the sticker book. So hello, Santa Claus. I'm feeling Christmassy. I thought that was really fun. I love the little sentiment strips here. And again, look how fast we've made this card. Now, I loved this phrase, but I didn't like the length of it. So I'm just going to cut it in half and layer those up just like so. So cute. And I accidentally bumped that, so I better fix it before it dries. And then we are going to grab our paper trimmer and trim off the side. Finally, I have the Schoolhouse Red card base, and I picked several of the rulers, the ruler ephemera pieces included, and we're going to glue those down the center of our red card base. You could ink the edges with the iced spruce if you wanted to. So I'm going to start with my red since it's red on red, but then we're going to sandwich it between the two neutral rulers so that it stands out. I love repetition in here, so often I like to go through my ephemera packs and kind of grab anything that has repetition to it. Then we're going to take the Santa ephemera piece and glue that right to the card. And then we're going to glue the frame over it, which instantly kind of frames up Santa there on his sleigh. I'm going to layer a sentiment phrase, best Christmas wishes, over a label. We're going to pop up our frame with some foam adhesive squares so that gives it a little bit of dimension. Just like that. And instantly, look at this card come to life. And again, super quick and easy. I do want to add some greenery to the corner of this frame, and I think what we'll do for that is we're going to take a little bit of the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium and then sprinkle on some of the glitter. I've inked up the edges of my sentiment. I think I like this one. So we're just going to go in. I didn't like what I did there, so I'm going to do the berries for this to make the berries sparkly. Glitter those up, glue that to the frame, and then we're going to pop our greeting in place. And just like that, we have 3 cards. So quick and easy. After I fold my card in half, I was looking at it and I thought, you know, I feel like the edges of my red would really have looked kind of cute distressed. So I totally took a chance and I took my little mini iced spruce ink pad and I'm going to distress the edges of this background while everything is on here. Now this would have been a lot easier had I done this before I adhered everything, but I'm just going to very carefully go in direct to paper and using a very light hand, I'm just going to swipe it along the red areas, like along the edges, just to kind of grunge it up a very teeny tiny bit. And I love this. When you come back a little bit later and your ink's kind of dried and absorbed, it looks absolutely incredible. Almost kind of like weathered, you know, chippy wood. Okay, let's take a look at all of our projects, starting with our card designs. Here are our 3 cards created with the Tim Holtz Christmas in July class kit. We also have 4 gift tags. So fun, so layered. I love these. And then, of course, we have our decor frame. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this bonus class featuring the Tim Holtz Christmas in July class kit. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.